My Uncle Bill, the man I'm named after, you have to understand what I'm saying isn't really wonderfully kind to him, but I loved the man. I loved him dearly. May he rest in peace. He said to me, he says, you know, your mother's after me all the time to get a job. She says that if I get a job, I could save up some money, and after a period of time, I could retire and I wouldn't have to work. Hell, boy, he said, I ain't working now. He came home, he had a tough time in World War II, and he came home, he didn't do well. But anyway, that was my Uncle Bill. Loved him very much. I want to talk to you about work. What is it? What is work? Well, it's an effort to produce something of value. Now, you will hear people say, and to some degree I mean it, it's not work if you love doing it. And to some degree that's true. But it's certainly not spending time with your family. It's certainly not spending time with some oils and canvas and painting a picture. It's certainly not spending some time fishing. You know, people say they don't believe in God maybe, and that's their right. But I'm telling you, if you fish, you're a man of faith, because you can't see under that water. You believe there's a fish down there. Wouldn't it be strange if you was fishing in an empty lake? Anyway, off the subject. What is work? Work is an effort to produce something of value. What we do is that we take resources. We take time. All right? We take time. We take human labor. We take space, heat, light, fuel, raw materials, steel, wood, paper, whatever it is, equipment from drill presses and big machines to computers. All of this plus human knowledge. And plus a system that puts it all together we call a process. And all of those things have a dollar value. And we add them all up. Now we want to go out and sell this thing that we have produced, this work. And we want to make a profit. We want it to have more value in the marketplace than we put into it. That's work. You don't want to be like the man who said, I lose $1 on everything I sell, but I'm making it up in volume. Right? It doesn't work that way. And so what we do in the work process is take all these resources and turn them into something else to produce something of value. Where do we get our materials? And at what cost? Where do we sell our products? And at what cost? Where do we get people? And what do we pay them? I have a thing about pay. I think we should pay people well. I don't ever want to have an employee or a friend, anyone, that's embarrassed to tell you how much they make where they work. It hurts their spirit. It reduces their dignity. We should pay people well. So where can we make improvements in the process of work? So there are folks who study all of these things. Six Sigma, the statistical study of everything we do. Lean, looking at every dollar we spend and when we spend it. Just-in-time inventory. All of these things that you hear about are efforts to improve the profit margin and to improve the process. We note during our Great Recession that the economy was coming back and the stock market was going up, but the number of jobs were increasing very slowly. Because companies, when the recession hit, were forced to do well with less. And they learned how. Unfortunately, a lot of people who work are overworked now. But that is the process of work. Taking all these resources and turning it into something else. And we hire people. I don't like the term human resource. I just don't like it because a resource to me is something that I buy, I use, and when I'm done with it, it's gone. I don't like that. A chunk of coal, or a gallon of gas, or a field of wheat, People are people. I liked it better when it was called the personnel department. It was people we were talking about. They've dehumanized it by calling us resources. But I have no power over that, so I don't worry about it. I don't worry about the weather. I have no power over that either. Where can I make an improvement? Well, we study that. One of the places we can make an improvement, of course, is in the people we hire. In the people we hire. And I've always been interested in the fact that when we talk to folks, we often hear that they really like working. They really like working with Stephen, or they like working with Patrice, or they like working with Kathy, or they like working with Shandy, or they like working with Gary or somebody. They're really good people. They're collegial, they're smart, they're fun to work with. They're hardworking, they're honest, they're sincere. And when I read job descriptions on Career Builder or in the newspaper or on the web, I never see we are looking for employees who are fun to work with, who make you laugh, who are good people. It doesn't say that. We're looking for a chemist who can mix Y and Z and get T and 30 years of experience in engineering. And what happened to all the other stuff? Now, the other stuff, the good stuff, comes out in the interviewing process, we hope. But I want to tell you something right now. I want to tell you something that's very important. Remember what I said? Everything I say is important. How's that for vanity? Right? It's easier to hire your culture than it is to train it or develop it. If you want a culture of people who are innovative and creative, and then hire innovative, creative people. If you want a culture of people who aren't particularly innovative or creative, but they're dependable, they'll show up every day, they'll push the button, pull the lever, carry the load, then hire those kind of people. One of the problems is we hire too many folks who have A, B, and C, and what we're after is D and F. Hire the culture you want, then develop it. Take the strengths that people have and expand them. Know about people's skills. I always thought that what we should do, I even tried to get the governor of Alaska to do this for the whole state one time. He said it was too big a project and too invasive in people's lives. But I said, let's do it voluntarily. But anyway, here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get a process where we mailed out to every adult in the state a computer thing where they listed their skills and their desires, their hobbies. What are you really good at? What are you doing? What would you like to do? What kind of education do you need that you don't have? Right? And put that in one gigantic data bank. And remember, Alaska has lots of money because of the oil. And then to spend the money to give people the careers and the futures that they wanted. We didn't do that, but I think we should have. And I think we should do that where we work. I'm, at this taping, I am 70 years old. I've been working since I was 9, right after my father was killed. So I've been in the workforce for 61 years. I've had one boss, one, who said to me, what can I do for you? What can I do to really help you be the person you want to be and to be able to do the job you want to do and to grow and excel? You tell me. I'm always telling you what I want you to do. You tell me what I can do for you. One time in 61 years. And I think that's too bad. This human person, this human being that is part of our work, is the most important part we've got. I don't know anybody who would take a bushel basket, and most of you people don't even know what a bushel basket is. You're too young. But let's say nobody I know would take 2 5-gallon buckets and fill them full of $100 bills and sit them on the porch, lock the door and go away. Because they know when they come back the next morning, that money's gone. That capital is missing. So you don't know in the evening when your good people walk out the door if they're going to come back. And you should know because you're helping them develop and be the people they want to be. So it's not just recruiting. It's also developing people, challenging them, motivating them. And we'll talk more about that in another session. Years ago, back in I think it was 99. Might have been 98, but it's one of those years. In basketball, the state of Wisconsin made it to the Final Four. The University of Wisconsin, not the state, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, the Badgers, made it to the Final Four. They got beat in that game, but they ended up the 4th best team in the United States. And not one of their players made All-American. Not one of them. As individuals, they weren't particularly outstanding. But as a team, working together with inspirational, helpful leadership, they were the 4th best team in this nation. They looked at, if somebody was tired, they'd pick up his slack. If somebody was hot, they'd feed him the ball. That's the kind of people we want in our work. And we want to give them the proper rewards. Then we'll get the teams, right, that will help our process produce the best for the best product. Intellectual capital. Intellectual capital. Now, at the workplace, we got workers. We have people with the title of supervisors. What's their job? I'm laughing because something just flashed into my mind. In the Bible, there are 6 verses in the whole Bible. There's 6 verses about gay people. And there's something like, 600 or 700 about heterosexual straight people. God thinks they need more supervision, I guess. It just always was funny to me. Anyway, supervisors. What is their job? Supervisor's job is to see that the people who are working there have the tools to do their job. Do they have the machinery? Do they have the equipment? Do they have safe place to work? Is it cool when it's supposed to be cool? Warm when it's supposed to be warm? Is the lighting good? Is there a place to get a cup of coffee? A place to go to the bathroom? Is it a pleasant place to work? And they are constantly looking, the supervisor is constantly looking for a way to improve his realm or her realm of the process. the space, the equipment, the work environment. And that supervisor's watching his or her people and inspiring them and lifting them up, helping them if they need help, getting them some help if they're behind, praising their work, showing them how to do things differently. That's the role of the supervisor. He's not just taking names and kicking butts. That doesn't do any good. He's looking for a way to improve that part of the process. Now, in our imaginary pyramid, and I don't like the pyramid, but we're using it anyway, we have managers. What's the manager's job? Supervisor's job is to get coffee, and I got great ones here because when I need it, it's here. I'll bet you $100 nobody here remembers Bishop Sheen. Bishop Sheen was a Catholic bishop of New York, and he had a television program, and he would draw things on the blackboard during his half-hour presentation. And then he would walk off to one side to say something, and when he would come back, he'd be clean, and he would say, "My angels did that. My angels cleaned my board. Well, my angels bring me coffee here." All right? The manager's job. The manager's job is to see that the workers and the supervisors have the best materials and processes they can get at the best price they can get. All right? The manager might have a title like Vice President for Purchasing. All right? And so that person's job is to see that materials that are purchased are the best they can be for the price that they pay and that they're delivered on time. The manager might be the manager of the Department of Personnel. Remember, Human Resources? Well, that person's job is to see that that whole process goes smoothly. And the transportation manager runs the fleet. Make sure that the batteries are charged, the trucks run, the cars run, the fleets run, the president's car is clean and washed. That's his job. Or hers. And the financial manager, her job is to make sure the books are clean and correct and legal. They acquire the processes and the things and the systems to get the work done. The supervisors and the workers use them. Now, the manager's job is always to look for a way to improve the things under their process. Now, the manager's watching maybe 4 or 5 different shops with supervisors and workers. The manager's job is to say, you know, if I move that thing there and change that piece of equipment, we could get that thing through there in about an hour less time. He's looking at a bigger picture. Operations manager is looking at the operations of the whole factory. Whereas the supervisor and his workers, they have sections. And that manager is looking for ways to improve the whole picture. And that's what they do. That's work. Now, where's leadership come in? What's leader's job? We're going to talk a lot in these sessions about what leadership's job is. The leadership's job is to decide, what are we doing in the first place? Are we doing the right things? Not are we doing them right. Are we doing the right things? Are we in the right place? There's a management consultant and management author by the name of Peter Drucker. D-R-U-C-K-E-R. He's probably the most famous of the management writers. And Drucker says that there's nothing more useless than doing something with great efficiency that should not be done at all. Right? Now, the leader's job is to make sure we don't make that mistake. The managers, the supervisors, and the workers, they're worried about efficiency. Leader's job is, are we doing the right things? That's why you are all leaders. Because you have to ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? If this is my goal, am I doing the right thing? I can look back to college days. I wasn't much of a drinking man in college days because I was on an athletic scholarship. But I would see my friends, boy, tie on one big drunk after another. You know, it was a thing to do in college. And then wonder why they didn't do so well on their exams. Well, yeah, they were very efficient at buying and consuming cheap beer. But wasn't the right thing to do. Right? And leadership's job is to say, are we doing the right thing? Right? And so we have to make those decisions. And that involves thinking, looking in the future, looking at the bigger picture. We have to study the future just like it's a customer. And we'll have a complete session on that. We have to be critical thinkers. And that's what we're going to talk about next.